Welcome back to our journey through literature. We're continuing our exploration into one of the most enduring and, well, enigmatic plays ever written, William Shakespeare's Hamlet.
That's right. We've already navigated the treacherous initial setup of the Danish court
Felt the profound weight of Prince Hamlet's grief, definitely.
and witnessed those chilling first appearances of the ghost of his deceased father.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll remember that the previous act, well, it really left us right on the edge of a precipice, didn't it?
It did. King Hamlet has died under, let's say, mysterious circumstances.
Very mysterious.
And Queen Gertrude, his widow, has hastily married Claudius, the late king's brother, who now wears the crown.
And that swift, almost indecent remarriage just plunged young Hamlet into this profound despair.
Uh-huh. It isolated him completely in a court that seems to have moved on with, frankly, alarming speed.
It's jarring.
We've seen a kingdom shrouded in unease, a real powder keg, of political and personal tension.
Yeah, and that tension was hinted at even before the supernatural truly enters the scene.
Precisely. That initial sense of disquiet, the feeling that things are just fundamentally off in Denmark, it really sets the stage perfectly.
It's like the quiet before a storm, but a quiet that's already vibrating with hidden tension. You, the audience, much like Hamlet, you sense this intrinsic wrongness.
And then, bam,
Yep.
everything changed.
Totally. The ghost of King Hamlet appeared to his son.
Confirming Hamlet's deepest suspicions
Yeah.
and laying a devastating truth bare.
That revelation from the ghost was the seismic shift, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It transformed Hamlet's internal grief into an external, terrifying mission.
He was told of murder, betrayal.
And a demand for vengeance. Yeah. And in response, Hamlet made that pivotal, maybe even desperate decision.
To put an antic disposition on.
Exactly. To feign madness as a shield and a strategy. This dramatic pivot immediately sets the stage for the intense cat-and-mouse game to come.
So today we're zeroing in on the very beginning, the pivotal first act of Hamlet.
Where it all kicks off.
Right. Our mission, really, is to deconstruct how this act masterfully functions. How does Shakespeare kickstart this incredibly complex plot?
And introduce these incredibly layered characters.
And meticulously lay the groundwork for the monumental themes that will resonate throughout the entire play.
Is foundational.
We're going to go scene by scene, pulling out the most important insights, focusing not just on what happens, but, how these early moments shape everything that follows.
Let's dive in.
All right, let's unpack this, starting with Act 1, Scene 1, The Whispers of a Ghost.
The opening scene.
We open on a cold, dark watch on the castle ramparts at Elsinore. The atmosphere is immediately foreboding.
Palpable.
The Francisco Sentinel, he sets the mood right away with his opening line, and I am sick at art.
Yeah. And it's not just physically cold, is it? There's a palpable spiritual chill there.
Definitely. A deep sense of unease, even before we know exactly why.
This opening scene is just a masterclass in exposition and mood setting. It immediately plunges us into this atmosphere of dread and supernatural mystery.
Yeah.
Shakespeare doesn't waste a single line.
No time wasted.
We're introduced to the profound unease of the common soldiers, Bernardo and Marcellus. They've witnessed something inexplicable.
Their fear is tangible.
But what's truly brilliant here is the introduction of Horatio.
Hamlet's friend.
Yes, presented as a rational scholar, a man of intellect, Hamlet's friend from university. His initial dismissal of their claims that skeptical tush-tush will not appear, it's absolutely crucial.
Okay, so why is Horatio's skepticism so vital here? Why not just have everyone immediately believe something spooky is happening?
Well, because it grounds the supernatural element in reality for the audience.
Right, okay.
If Horatio, the intelligent, educated man of reason, can be convinced by what he sees, then, well, so can we. His journey within this single scene is like a mini-arc in itself.
From doubter to believer.
Exactly. From that initial dismissal, he transforms into a trembling, terrified witness. He declares, "It harrows me with fear and wonder." His own eyes provide sensible and true avouch of what he sees. This transformation builds his credibility immensely.
So we trust him.
We trust Horatio, yeah. He becomes a reliable observer for both the soldiers and, crucially, for us, the audience. If he believes, we're invited to believe too. It makes the ghost's appearance all the more impactful.
And the tension builds, doesn't it? Almost unbearably until that moment, the ghost appears. Bernardo's line, in the same figure like the king that's dead, it sounds simple, but it's so chilling.
It is. It's not just a ghost. It's the king's ghost in his full royal warlike armor.
Which itself raises questions.
Right. It implies a disturbance not just of a man, but of the very state itself.
And that likeness in his full martial array, that's key, you're saying.
Oh, absolutely. It immediately raises questions about the state of Denmark. Is it preparing for war? Is something wrong? But what's truly fascinating here, and, a hallmark of Shakespeare's genius, is Horatio's extensive classical allusion when the ghost vanishes the first time.
Right. He goes off on this tangent about Rom.
Yeah, he launches into this extended description of the terrifying omens that preceded Julius Caesar's fall. The graves stood tenantless, and the sheeted dead did squeak and gibber in the Roman streets.
Sounds pretty dramatic.
It is, but it isn't just a bit of historical trivia thrown in for show.
So what's the deeper purpose of this Roman history lesson then?
Well, it's a really powerful use of analogy and foreshadowing.
Okay.
It elevates the personal tragedy we're about to witness to a cosmic and national scale. Horatio is essentially saying, look, this isn't just some family ghost story.
Right.
This apparition is like those supernatural portents that heralded the collapse of the Roman Republic. It's a precursor, he says, of feared events and calamity that will affect the entire nation.
So suggests Denmark itself is unraveling.
Precisely. Mirroring a grand historical catastrophe. It makes the audience understand the stakes are enormous, far beyond one family's grief. It just imbues the scene with immense dramatic weight right from the start.
And that dramatic irony of the ghost almost speaking, but then poop vanishing at the cockcrow.
Yeah.
It's described as a guilty thing upon a fearful summons. That timing, it emphasizes the supernatural, but maybe suggests a limitation on the ghost.
Well, that's a very ancient superstition, deeply ingrained in Elizabethan belief.
Okay.
That spirits cannot walk after cockcrow, especially near the dawn, which is associated with Christ's birth and holiness, the dispelling of spirits.
Ah, interesting.
So it adds this crucial layer of spiritual context. It suggests the very presence of the ghost is unnatural, a profound disturbance in the natural and divine order. It signals something is deeply, terribly wrong.
Which, of course, brings us to arguably one of the most iconic lines in all of Shakespeare, spoken by Marcellus. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. It's become such a common idiom, but hearing it here in context, it's chilling.
It's far more than just a throwaway line. It's a direct thematic statement, a vital anchor for the audience. And think about who says it. Marcellus, a common soldier, a guard on duty.
Right, not a nobleman.
Which tells us this corruption isn't just some secret confined to the palace, whispered among courtiers. It's a stench felt by the common man.
It infects the whole kingdom.
Exactly. It perfectly encapsulates that pervasive sense of political, moral, and spiritual disorder. Young Fortinbras's movements and the post-haste and rummage in the land, that's the external political instability. But Marcellus's line suggests the decay is far deeper than mere politics. It's a fundamental sickness at the very heart of the kingdom.
Setting the stage for what Hamlet finds out later.
Precisely. Setting the stage for his later discoveries about his uncle's actions. It's such a stark contrast to Claudius's later attempts at controlling the public image. It subtly tells the audience, don't be fooled by appearances here.
So by the end of this opening scene, we've got the supernatural element introduced, the political unrest hinted at, and this overwhelming sense of foreboding firmly established.
Yeah.
And we've already started to see that theme of appearance versus reality, especially in Horatio's initial disbelief versus the, undeniable reality of the ghost.
The play opens by immediately questioning what is truly seen, what's truly known, and what is merely perceived or, hidden.
It creates this powerful sense of suspense, leaving the audience, much like the characters, just desperate for answers.
Why is the ghost here? What does it want? And what does its appearance truly mean for Hamlet, for Denmark, and really for the very concept of order in the universe?
The seeds of madness and uncertainty are sown right from these chilling opening moments.
Absolutely.
Okay, so from the chilling ramparts, we transition directly into the, bustling yet profoundly uneasy heart of the Danish court in Act 1, Scene 2.
Big shift in tone.
Yeah. Here, Claudius makes his grand entrance, and he's all about projecting this image of calm authority and control, isn't he?
Oh, completely. His opening speech is a masterclass in political spin. He's justifying his rapid marriage to Gertrude, talking about his diplomatic efforts regarding young Fortinbras.
Trying to smooth everything over.
Exactly. Structurally, this scene is vital because it officially introduces us to the new power structure in Denmark. We meet King Claudius, Queen Gertrude, and of course, Prince Hamlet.
Who is visibly not integrated into the court.
Precisely. or rather, visibly not integrated. It marks the beginning of the rising action, as Hamlet's internal conflict, which has been simmering with grief and suspicion, now intensifies as he's confronted with the new reality of the court.
And later in the scene, he finds out about the ghost.
Right. His awareness of the ghost's appearances through Horatio and the guards, that truly sets him on an unavoidable path toward confrontation and eventual, well, albeit delayed, action.
Claudius is just so smooth, though. He grants Laertes leave to return to France, appearing generous, magnanimous.
Projecting this image of a benevolent ruler who's quickly stabilizing the kingdom.
But then we see Hamlet, standing apart, sullen, draped in black. His grief is a stark, undeniable presence. The contrast is immediate, almost jarring.
It is. And Claudius, in this scene, truly emerges as a master manipulator, deeply concerned with maintaining public perception and absolute control.
It's all about the performance.
It is. He's all about carefully constructed rhetoric. Gertrude, meanwhile, well, she appears either complicit in this new order or perhaps profoundly insensitive to her son's grief.
Telling him to cast thy nighted color off.
Right, adapting very quickly to her new role as Claudius's queen. But Hamlet, his isolation is palpable. His visible grief, his persistent mourning, it's a direct challenge to the superficial joviality and the forced sense of normalcy that Claudius is desperately trying to establish.
It's like a silent rebellion.
It is, a silent yet powerful act of rebellion.
And then we get Hamlet's first major soliloquy. Oh, that this too sullied flesh would melt. This is where he truly opens his heart to us, isn't it? Revealing his inner turmoil with astonishing honesty.
Oh, it's raw, a truly agonizing expression of Hamlet's profound despair. We see his suicidal ideation, his wish that his too-sullied flesh would melt.
Just wanting to disappear.
A desperate longing for oblivion, yeah. A desire to simply cease to exist. But more profoundly, it revealed his deep, visceral disgust with his mother's, what he calls incestuous marriage to Claudius.
He's wrestling with his own mortality, but also the moral decay he sees everywhere.
Exactly. He compares his father to Hyperion, a sun god, basically, embodying masculine perfection.
Right.
And Claudius to a satyr, a grotesque, lustful, half-human creature, a symbol of depravity.
That's quite the comparison.
It is. This vivid imagery not only idealizes his father to an almost unreachable standard, but conveys his utter, unadulterated contempt for his uncle. It's not just dislike, it's pure revulsion.
And that famous line, frailty, thy name is woman. That's a really bitter, sweeping accusation, isn't it?
Oh, hugely. It generalizes his mother's actions into a broader failing of her entire sex. It's almost a curse on all womanhood.
Why does he lash out like that?
Well, it's a moment of profound, almost misogynistic despair. Absolutely. But it's one born from his mother's perceived betrayal. He just cannot reconcile her quick remarriage with his idealized memory of his father and their marriage.
It's pain talking.
It's intense pain and the lashing out, yes. He questions the very nature of female steadfastness and loyalty and the biting irony, that almost grotesque detail.
The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables.
Exactly. It perfectly captures the indecent, almost ghoulish haste of the marriage.
It just highlights how quickly, in Hamlet's eyes, the solemnity of death and proper mourning was just discarded.
Yeah, replaced by the superficial celebration of a scandalous union. It's a profound commentary on the moral bankruptcy he perceives right at the heart of the Danish court.
It paints such a clear picture of his emotional state, and then at the very end of the scene, Horatio and the guards tell Hamlet about seeing his father's ghost.
The big reveal.
And Hamlet's immediate response, thinking of his father in my mind's eye, even before hearing about the apparition. That subtly foreshadows the ghost's actual appearance, doesn't it?
It really does. It suggests his deep, unbreakable connection to his lost father. It's almost as if he already sensed his father's lingering presence somehow.
Wow.
So the scene concludes with this revelation of the ghost to Hamlet, which transforms his passive grief into an active quest. Until now, his despair has been internal, a silent torment.
But now it has a focus.
Now it has a terrifying external focus. The court's forced joviality and Claudius's carefully crafted facade, they mask this deep vein of corruption and deceit.
And Hamlet's soliloquy just lays out the major themes.
Absolutely. Profound grief, the perceived incest and moral decay, that stark contrast between appearance and reality, the suffocating superficiality of court life, and the paralyzing burden of inaction that Hamlet already feels.
His world and the entire play's direction has fundamentally shifted.
Setting him on an unavoidable collision course with his uncle and, well, his destiny.
Now, let's turn our attention to Act 1, Scene 3, The Chains of Obedience. This scene takes us into the more intimate, yet equally problematic world of Polonius and his children.
Laertes and Ophelia.
We see Laertes departing for France, and before he goes, he gives Ophelia a rather pointed warning about Hamlet.
Mm-hmm. This scene's primary function, really, is to lay bare the rigid social and familial hierarchies that exist within the court, particularly within Polonius's household.
It feels very controlled.
Very. It serves to further isolate Ophelia and Hamlet, building tension by erecting these significant obstacles in the path of their perceived affection.
And it foreshadows Ophelia's tragic fate, too, right?
Definitely. Her vulnerability under her father's absolute controlling authority is starkly revealed. And Polonius's penchant for surveillance and control, his deep-seated need to manage appearances, that's firmly established here. It sets up so much of the later conflict.
Laertes' warnings to Ophelia are quite clear. He says Hamlet's love is fleeting, like a violet in the youth of primy nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting.
The perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more. Yeah, he's basically saying Hamlet's affections are superficial.
A passing youthful fancy.
Exactly, not true. Enduring love. It's a powerful metaphor for fleeting youthful passion, tying right back into that broader theme of appearance versus reality.
Laertes suggests Hamlet's love is all show, no substance, like a fragile flower that will quickly wilt.
Right. But the real meat of the scene, and often quite ironic given his later actions,
Comes from Polonius's
lengthy, meandering instructions, first to Laertes, and then even more strictly and cynically to Ophelia.
Polonius's famous precepts to Laertes, like neither a borrower nor a lender be, and of course, this above all to thine own self be true.
Yeah.
These lines are often quoted as timeless, wise advice, but the context here is so important, isn't it?
It's everything. The man delivering them seems to contradict their spirit at every turn.
How
Well, Polonius is characterized as verbose, self-important, and deeply pragmatic, almost cynical, in his counsel. While to thine own self be true sounds noble in isolation, the dramatic irony is profound.
Okay, explain dramatic irony again for us.
Sure. Dramatic irony is when we, the audience, know something that a character in the play does not. Here, we know Polonius himself consistently acts in ways that completely contradict the spirit of his own advice.
Like spying on Laertes later.
Exactly. He later sends Reynaldo to spy on Laertes, actively deceiving him. And he's constantly trying to manipulate situations for political gain. His pronouncements here are less about true wisdom and more about control, maintaining reputation, and giving the appearance of wisdom. He's a walking contradiction.
And his advice, or rather his command to Ophelia, is even more controlling. He dismisses Hamlet's tenders of affection to her, calling them springes to catch woodcocks and implorators of unholy suits. The imagery there is quite vivid and harsh.
It certainly is. This imagery portrays Hamlet's vows not as genuine expressions of love, but as deceptive traps. Springes to catch woodcocks. Simple snares designed to catch foolish, unsuspecting birds.
So he thinks Hamlet is just trying to trap her.
Absolutely. Polonius's cynical view of love and human nature is on full display here. He sees Hamlet's affection as mere lust, a fleeting passion that ignites when the blood burns. How prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows.
His primary concern isn't Ophelia's happiness.
Not at all. It's family honor and political gain. He commands her to set your entreatments at a higher rate, and more importantly, forbids her from giving words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. He effectively cuts off her agency, treating her like property.
And Ophelia's response, just, I shall obey, my lord. It's chillingly simple.
It is. It highlights her dutiful and obedient nature, a stark contrast to Hamlet's rebellious spirit.
And her vulnerability under her father's oppressive authority. That's a key point.
A key point of her character development, yes, and tragically, a foreshadowing of her ultimate fate. She is forced into this position of absolute submission, agreeing to deny Hamlet access.
Which sets her up for heartbreak later.
Profound heartbreak and emotional instability, yes. This scene firmly establishes themes of parental authority, the crushing weight of societal expectations, the conflict between duty and personal desire, and that pervasive deceptive nature of appearances we keep seeing.
Ophelia becomes a pawn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Through no fault of her own, she's already becoming a pawn in the dangerous political and personal games being played at court, trapped by her loyalty and obedience. It's a tragic setup.
Following that stifling domestic scene, we return to the biting cold of the ramparts in Act 1, Scene 4, the confrontation on the ramparts.
Back outside.
Hamlet, Horatio, and Marcellus are now together, waiting for the ghost. This scene really intensifies the rising action, doesn't it? It just ratchets up the tension and the sense of impending doom.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
This is the crucial moment where Hamlet transitions from, passive grief and internal despair to a more active, courageous stance.
He's ready to face it.
He's preparing to directly confront the supernatural, to seek answers firsthand. This signals a significant shift in his character, moving him towards inquiry and potential, albeit fraught action. The air is just thick with anticipation.
Before the ghost appears, though, Hamlet makes some quite insightful philosophical observations about Danish customs.
Right, about Claudius's drunken revelry and excessive feasting, which they can actually hear from the castle below.
It's almost a moment of calm before the storm, but it's a critical pause for Hamlet's character, isn't it?
It is, and his criticism here is sharp and morally pointed. He calls Claudius' drunken revelry a custom more honored in the breach than the observance.
Meaning it's better ignored.
Essentially, yeah. It's a practice that would be far better ignored, a national embarrassment in his eyes. He views it as a moral degeneracy that makes us traduced and taxed of other nations. It damages Denmark's reputation internationally.
So it shows his moral compass.
It establishes Hamlet's keen moral judgment, his disgust with the court's superficiality and ethical decay, and his deep sensitivity to what constitutes true honor versus superficial pomp. He's not just a grieving son. He's already a discerning critic of the societal rot he perceives around him. It sets him apart.
And then the ghost appears again, a spectral presence. Despite Horatio and Marcellus's terrified warnings, don't go, Hamlet doesn't hesitate. He directly addresses it, almost daring it.
His direct address, "Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned," shows his desperate, almost reckless need for answers. It overrides any fear or concern for his own safety.
Yes and no.
He has to know. He's willing to challenge the unknown, even the potentially demonic, to uncover the truth. His line, "I do not set my life at a pin's fee," reveals a fatalistic courage.
Like life doesn't matter much to him anymore.
Exactly. A profound despair that makes him fearless of death itself. He's already so burdened by grief that his life holds little value to him, pushing him forward into this dangerous encounter. This willingness to risk his very being for the truth is a crucial turning point.
And Horatio is still worried?
Yeah, Horatio's continued loyalty and concern for Hamlet's sanity are evident. He fears the ghost might deprive your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness.
Which foreshadows the whole antic disposition thing.
Precisely. It serves as potent foreshadowing, leaving the audience to wonder if his madness is genuinely sparked by the ghost's influence or merely a calculated performance later on.
And then, once again, Marcellus, the common soldier, he reiterates that powerful line.
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
It gains even more weight after the ghost's appearance.
This repetition is vital. It transforms from a mere observation by a fearful sentinel into a climactic thematic statement for the scene, maybe even the entire act, because it explicitly links the supernatural disturbance, the ghost's terrifying reappearance, and its clear intent to speak only to Hamlet, to the pervasive moral and political corruption within the kingdom.
They're connected.
Inextricably linked. It reinforces that the spiritual malaise and the state of Denmark are one and the same problem. The ghost isn't just a personal haunting for Hamlet. It's a symptom, a supernatural manifestation of the deep sickness at the heart of the Danish body politic.
It anchors the theme for us.
Absolutely. This line provides a crucial thematic anchor for the audience moving forward, cementing the idea that the entire world Hamlet inhabits is out of joint.
So, by the end of the scene, we have Hamlet on the very brink of receiving the truth. The tension is almost unbearable. And the themes of corruption, the supernatural, and the potential descent into madness are all accelerating, converging on this one encounter.
There's a palpable sense of fate and urgency surrounding Hamlet's impending encounter now. The play is poised for the central conflict to be revealed.
And the audience, along with Hamlet, is ready, maybe even desperate, to hear what the ghost has to say,
knowing it will shatter Hamlet's world even further.
And finally, we arrive at the intense, devastating climax of Act 1, Scene 5, the call to revenge.
This is it.
This is where everything changes, irrevocably. The ghost takes Hamlet aside, and the revelations are truly shocking, forever altering the trajectory of the play and Hamlet's life.
This scene is, without question, the pivotal moment. Not just of Act 1, but of the entire play.
The core revelation.
The ghost's confession. Directly revealing Claudius's horrific murder of old King Hamlet, administering poison into his ear. This revelation firmly sets the central conflict Hamlet's sacred, terrifying mission of revenge in motion.
It's the engine of the play now.
It is. This is the catalyst that propels the rising action into Act Two, and indeed the entire rest of the tragedy. All subsequent events are an unraveling of this moment.
And the ghost's description of the murder, it's so vivid and disturbing. He speaks of foul and most unnatural murder.
Describing how Claudius poured juice of cursed Hibona, a deadly poison, into his ear, causing his thin and wholesome blood to curdle and his body to break out in a leprous distilment.
Just horrifying imagery.
It emphasizes the sheer horror and unnaturalness of the act. It's a betrayal of kinship, a violation of the natural order. But the ghost also highlights the profound religious implications of his death.
Being cut off.
Even in the blossoms of my sin, unhoused, disappointed, unanaled. Now, those last three words are crucial for an Elizabethan audience.
Okay, break those down.
Unhoused means without receiving the Eucharist, Holy Communion. Disappointed implies unprepared for death, spiritually unready. And unanaled refers to dying without extreme unction, the last rites.
So he died without a chance to confess.
Exactly. Without a chance to confess his sins or receive spiritual forgiveness, condemning his soul to purgatory, where he's tormented by the very fires from which Hamlet is meant to rescue him.
Wow, that adds another layer.
It adds immense moral and spiritual weight to the revenge imperative. It emphasizes old Hamlet's excruciating suffering and the grave injustice committed against both his life and his afterlife.
Yeah.
Hamlet's mission is now not just about earthly justice, but about saving his father's soul.
And then the ghost gives Hamlet that very specific, crucial instruction regarding Gertrude.
Yeah. Taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge, to prick and sting her.
What does that mean for Hamlet?
Well, this is a critical limitation on his revenge, and it will haunt his actions and prevent a straightforward path of retribution throughout the play. It introduces immense moral and psychological complexity.
He has to avenge his father, but leave his mother alone.
Precisely. He's expressly forbidden from harming his mother. This directive fuels his internal conflict, making his mission far from simple. It forces him to grapple with her guilt, her complicity, her role in the corruption, without allowing him the direct, violent action he might otherwise pursue against her.
It makes things much more complicated for him.
Ensures a more convoluted, psychologically fraught journey for Hamlet, where his mother's actions become this constant, unresolved ache.
Hamlet's immediate reaction to this bombshell, this devastating truth, it's a profound emotional upheaval, right? Captured in his second major soliloquy.
Oh, you host of heaven, O earth, what else? And shall I couple hell?
He's just overwhelmed.
Completely. Vowing to wipe away all trivial thoughts and keep only the ghost's commandment in his mind, searing it into his memory.
Adieu, 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 remember me.
That frantic vow reflects his absolute commitment to his father's command, to erase everything else. And the line, my table's meted as I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain.
That hits hard.
It's a direct, bitter response to Claudius's deceptive public persona. Hamlet now knows the smiling, benevolent king, the man who appears so poised and in control, is in fact a villain, a murderer.
Deepens that theme of appearance versus reality again.
Dramatically deepens it, yes. Hamlet has ripped back the veil, and he sees the true ugly face beneath the facade.
And right after this, Hamlet makes that strategic decision to put an antic disposition on. He tells Horatio and Marcellus not to give away that they know anything, even if he starts acting strangely. Why this strategy? What's the purpose of feigned madness?
Well, it's a crucial strategic move, born from this newfound, overwhelming burden of knowledge and the immense danger he now faces.
It gives him cover.
By feigning madness, Hamlet creates ambiguity around his true state. It allows him to observe, gather more evidence, and plot his revenge without immediately revealing his intentions to Claudius, who would surely move against him if he knew.
So we're left wondering, is it real or fake?
Exactly. This antic disposition introduces that complex interplay between real and feigned madness that will define Hamlet's actions. It makes it difficult for other characters and for us, the audience, to discern his true mental state. Is he truly losing his mind from the burden, or is it all a calculated act?
Creates massive tension.
Intense dramatic tension, and that tension is heightened further by the ghost's repeated booming swear from beneath the stage.
Right, from under their feet.
Yeah, a disembodied voice demanding the solemnity and secrecy of the oath, reinforcing the supernatural presence and the profound weight of Hamlet's new mission.
And Hamlet's profound philosophical remark, spoken to Horatio. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Feels like a moment of cosmic revelation.
It's a truly profound statement, isn't it? On
Yeah.
the limits of human knowledge and rationality. It's as if Hamlet is telling Horatio, look, your books, your logic, your entire worldview simply can't account for the unsettling, inexplicable forces at play here.
The universe is bigger and stranger than we think.
There's a universe far vaster and stranger, more mysterious and terrifying than anything we mere mortals can fully grasp with our reason alone. It underscores the cosmic scale of the tragedy.
It's not just politics.
No. It reinforces that the world Hamlet inhabits is not simply one of political intrigue, but of spiritual and existential mystery, where the boundaries between life and death, sanity and madness are blurred.
Sets up all the dilemmas to come.
Absolutely. Sets up the profound moral and existential dilemmas that will plague Hamlet throughout the play as he grapples with this horrifying truth, the sacred mission of revenge, and the complex web of deception he must now navigate. His world has literally been turned upside down.
Wow. What a ride Act 1 has been. By its end, the entire landscape of Hamlet has been dramatically reshaped.
Completely transformed.
We began with, whispers of unease, and by the final moments, we had a clear, shocking truth, a desperate mission, and a new strategy from our protagonist.
Absolutely. The initial exposition, filled with hints and atmospheric dread, it quickly transformed into the primary conflict, driven entirely by the ghost's devastating revelation.
And Hamlet himself.
Yeah.
He's fundamentally changed.
Oh, yeah. From a grieving prince burdened by a corrupt world to a man now tasked with a sacred, terrifying mission of revenge. This is no longer merely a domestic tragedy. It feels like a cosmic unraveling.
And his decision to feign madness, to put an antic disposition on, that's such a critical development, setting up so much of what's to come.
Yeah, it injects that element of constant uncertainty, doesn't it?
It really does.
It immediately creates this complex interplay of sanity and deception that will define his every action. It forces both the characters and the audience to constantly question what is real and what is acted.
And the court itself.
The court, which initially seemed merely disquieting, is now definitively exposed as a den of foul play, a place where smiles hide daggers.
And characters like Ophelia and Polonius.
They're now firmly established as unwitting pieces in a dangerous game. Their personal lives intricately tied to the court's dark secrets and Hamlet's new dangerous path, setting them up, really, for their own tragic fates.
So the big question leading out of Act 1, now that Hamlet knows the shocking truth and has decided to put an antic disposition on, how will this feigned madness truly affect his relationships, particularly with Ophelia and Claudius? And what new dangers will arise as he begins to test the conscience of the king in the acts to come?
Lots to unfold.
Thank you for joining us on this literary journey. If you're nodding along, help other curious minds discover these conversations too. Press like and subscribe.